Hi, welcome to Whiteboard Wednesday. I'm Nick Williams at DeepBridge Consulting. We're going to be going through today why market research exposes the inconvenient truth, and we're going to be talking a little bit how cereal is going to be the best one to show us that. Stick around. Hey there, welcome back to another episode of Whiteboard Wednesday. I'm Nick Williams, and the reason I wanted to go through this today is because I wanted to talk a little bit about why consumer insights and market research can expose the inconvenient truth and why it should start to matter to you. Because I want to actually talk about cereal for a second to show you how a popular brand has followed consumer insights to adapt their messaging to make sure that they are relevant to the key audiences that drive their business and their bottom line. So let me explain. So you've probably heard of this cereal. It's in no way, shape, or form an ad. I wish. It's a great cereal, very sugary, but Golden Crisp is a post cereal, and the reason I thought this was interesting is because some of their messaging that caught my eye in the shopping aisle, which is the exact reason I bought it, and I decided to look this research up and take you through it today. So we're going to start with an example. So Mintel actually ran some data, and their data revealed that 40% of millennials that were surveyed actually say that cereal is an inconvenient solution to morning hunger. Now think about that for a second. Cereal for 20 to 30 years, throughout the 50s to the 70s and through the 80s was booming. It was absolutely what people preferred. It was the natural thing to do in the morning. It was very convenient. The household was centered more around the dining room table. But you think about today, and especially who's eating cereal, and you think about, well, what are the actual, what time are they going to work? What's their typical job? Are they on the go? And consumer dynamics have shifted so much so that they don't even remotely resemble the time of the 50s to the, post-World War II, the 50s to the 80s, and that dynamic has changed. Cereal is no longer convenient. You can't take it to go. This idea of taking it even in a pouch in your car, that's out of the question. And so what this cereal has done, what Golden Crisp has done, and what struck my eye is Mintel ran this report in 2015 or so, and you can see that through this data, Golden Crisp actually decided to have a new tagline. And what I wanted to call to attention is if you notice at the top of that box, what it says is the ultimate late night snack. Get outside of your four walls and stop talking to yourselves. Go listen to your consumers, see what they're talking about, because this research would show you 40% of millennials don't actually think it's convenient at all. That is something you should be listening to. But it goes one step further. And instead of just saying, okay, well, they don't want cereal, period. Millennials, I'm a millennial, I don't want cereal, period. Well, to be fair, the research doesn't actually show that they don't want cereal, period. They show that it's an inconvenient solution to an on-the-go morning hunger. This solution, you're already in the making mode. This is post-dinner. You're not pressed for time. You don't have something to go to. So it would make sense why making a bowl of cereal and cleaning it out in the sink isn't the worst, most inconvenient thing in the world. You're already in that state of mind. And that is what Golden Crisp did a really good job of understanding is, well, hold on, it's not that they don't want to, millennials don't want to clean their bowls. It's that they don't want to clean their bowls right before they have to run and they're on their way to work. No one wakes up with, for the most part, not a lot of millennials wake up with extra time to kill. Everything's plotted out almost to the second. So another extra 3 minutes cleaning bowls, it's just kind of is a drag on your day. It slows you down. So that's why this is very interesting messaging and a nice value proposition to follow the research. It shows 40% of millennials think it's very convenient. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, millennials aren't the only people on the planet, Nick. Why would we just listen to them? Another step deeper into market research is understanding who actually makes up the bulk of your purchases. So yes, that's a true statement. Most people would tend to think that younger children are habitual eaters and they're the driving force behind the cereal category. That's not true. The millennials, the 18 to 34-year-olds, about that age range, are the ones who are driving the category, who have the most propensity to purchase and therefore pushing the dollars through the cereal category. So they're the ones you should be paying attention to. That doesn't mean you neglect everyone else, but that does mean your value propositions should reflect the pains of your biggest users. So I'll say that again. Your value proposition should reflect the pains of your biggest users. When you look at the data, Golden Chris knew that number one, what's the size of price? Who is the audience? 18 to 34-year-olds. That doesn't mean we ignore everyone else. It simply means that we satisfy their pain first, because they are the ones who are responsible for most of the purchases. Number two, understanding what hurts. And then number three, finding a solution to those pains or barriers that are actually driving that pain and barrier for that consumer segment. So that's what I really wanted to get through today, was look at your brand. Look at your business. Go out and understand. Look at your customer data. I'm sure you have this. If you don't, check out our content. We can give you a way to go figure this out. But look at who's making the bulk of your purchases. And then understand what it is that they want, don't want, what stops them from buying, what are the things that slow them from purchasing your category, from entering your category, from leaving your category. And if you don't know how to do that, again, we have some content. We won't get into that. It's a whole other subject, but we have some content to get you there. Who is it? What hurts? And then you need to find the solution that best matches their number one problem, right? So if millennials were actually to say, well, it's actually inconvenient and unhealthy. Unhealthy is the secondary pain. It's on their minds. And cold cereal, whether it's healthy or unhealthy, it's just inconvenient to them. So that's number one. Number two is they're probably thinking about, well, this isn't actually the best thing for me. I might as well eat a cookie or ice cream. But to them, cereal is a little bit more associated with healthy things because it's for so long been a staple of breakfast. So that idea of an unhealthy cereal, which is why Golden Chris and a lot of these companies still are making cereals that aren't healthy, is because that is actually a secondary problem. So you go to secondary problems when you've nailed and own your primary problem. The primary problem for this consumer segment that Golden Chris is targeting is inconvenience. Then it may be health. But first, let's own inconvenience. And with that value proposition, there was no other cereal in the cereal line that said that. So when you think about your unique value proposition, go listen to Mailbag Monday from the 25th, I believe, of February. Your unique value proposition is actually what matters, not just your value proposition. Unique. If they didn't have this tagline, they are drowned out, not only being cannibalized by their own brand, all the other cereals they make, but number two, there's no way to differentiate yourself from the rest of the aisle, from your competition. So, as you look at your business and your brand, what I really want you to do is understand your market research and make it actionable. What is the size of price? So look at your brand. Who are really making the purchases? Number two, of those people, of that segment, what hurts? What really stops them from buying more of you? And number three, find the most convenient, fastest, high-value solution you can to their biggest pain or barrier. So you can make a list here, and you need to make sure that you're prioritizing in descending order all the things that hurt, why they hurt, and then you're solving for them in the most actionable way that they can see immediately. Yes, that's a solution to my problem. And it doesn't have to be necessarily, look at the cereal. Functionally, the cereal is no different. But in terms of messaging and what it's signaling, it's certainly different. That box of cereal and a blank box next to that box of cereal with the messaging on it, it's the exact same taste, but it signals something different and incites purchasing. Messaging can make or break your product. And it all depends on how much you understand your consumer and the consumer segment you think is driving your business. So keep that in mind. Size of price, pain and barriers, find the solution to step 2. All these things have to have continuity. So understanding what hurts and what solves the problem for them is highly important. Figure out the pain, find the solution. Hopefully that helps. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next Wednesday for another episode of Whiteboard Wednesday. See you around.